Okay, we are now live. Hello everyone, I'm Eventide Shine and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker. Just setting up a few more things and then we'll start playing soon. Los, thank you so much for hosting. Alright, now let's go ahead and switch screens to this. To the gameplay feed. Kira, welcome to the stream. Oh nice, you got the notification. Awesome. Yeah, I just started. Oops. And I will be our Warrior of Light tonight. Okay, so back to what we were doing before. So, Kira, how's it going? I think we were in Elpis. Nope, that's not me. That's me. You've been asleep all this time? You probably needed it. I don't blame you, honestly. Flights are exhausting. Oh. I mean, sentiment remains the same. That, flights are very exhausting. Okay, next quest. Witness to the Spectacle. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis, and the entelechies which can control it. Yet most scholars are only vaguely aware of these terms, let alone study them in any depth, except for Hermes, it seems. Thus I'm inclined to stay our current course and learn all we can about the chief overseer and his familiar. And on that subject, was there aught else of note you could tell me about Meteon, aside from her unorthodox method of communication? There are more like her. She has sisters. I rather wish you had mentioned that earlier. In any event, would you care to elaborate? You're practicing Eden Savage? Are you doing it by yourself or with a team? So these siblings of hers now travel with great expanse in her search of deeper meaning. Thank you. Though the mystery at hand remains unresolved, I feel you've touched upon a vital clue, one we should keep in mind as we continue. Next, I propose we take ourselves to Peripetia Crystalline, not far from here. Just follow the path west. Oh, you found a team for a learning party. Okay. Yeah, good luck. I heard it's tough, and I do want to run that at some point. There's a mount that's guaranteed to drop. It's a 4-seater, so it definitely makes it valuable. This tower and the one further along are both part of Peripedia Crystalline, the facility where they archive all of Elpis's observational and testing records. Despite how they appear from the outside, the interior is actually a vast area of magically interconnected spaces, which, while fascinating, is not the reason we are here, is it? I shall cut my architectural lesson short and see what those two archivists have to share. If you could find someone to speak with over at the other tower, I shall join you there and on. Okay. You have questions for me, yes? Certainly. Just a moment while I conclude my current appointment. Indeed. So if you could provide a comprehensive log of those behaviors, we should have sufficient data for our official records. Now, what is it you wish to speak with me about? The Chief Overseer's personal research project, and by that I assume you mean Meteon. Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, hardly a day goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by one creation or another. I'm afraid I cannot tell you exactly what Meteon appeared, only that she now spends much of her time at Chief Hermes' side. Although, I do recall an interesting tale my dearest, Ghislaine shared with me. Ghislaine is my partner, and a fellow researcher here in Elpis. She was returned late one night when she caught a sight of Chief Hermes sending Meteon heavensward, a host of them. For several days, she would speak of that scene with wonder, describing it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she had ever witnessed. That sounds like a story I should like to hear. Mistress Vana, I thought you had already returned to the surface. Permit me to thank you again for your invaluable contribution to our concept placement proposal. Pray do not mention it. As you say, my original plan was to leave after the task, and I have since become engrossed in Chief Hermes' research. Would you favor me with a retelling of this sight which you delighted your Ghislaine? Of course. Or could you hear it from, or you could hear it from her lips directly, if you prefer. At present, she should be observing a subject in Metabesios Thalassae. She does enjoy her time there, watching the sea creatures hunt and play, gazing upon the salty waters of the world's oceans, recreated in such sublime detail. I imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mistress Vana. Even though such pursuits must continually and regrettably delay your return to the star. Indeed they do. 'Tis a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have we prospered for the wisdom you accumulated during your travels as Azam. And what would Elpis be without your earlier academic work? The theories you developed served as the base of many techniques still used today. Man is a creature of contemplation, but none embody the nature with as much enduring passion as you. Aye, I dare say there Is not a soul alive more worthy of a return? I shall rejoice the day you depart on your final journey. I will be honored. Well, shall we take this opportunity to meet with Galene in person? Wait, you're getting your practice in Los for something? Then allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. It will take you up to the Skyway and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts on the ground. That would be most helpful, thank you. I have opened the path to the Skyway. Once you pass through the door, simply walk straight across to the next tower and ask for admittance to the upper tier. Upon arriving at the upper tier, walk across the Skyway and you will find yourself at the entrance to Metabesios Thalasai. Galene will be eager to share her tale with you, I am sure. Alright, so let's walk across. Mistress Vana, just passing through? Then allow me to prepare the path. If you need further assistance, there is always an observer or two out on the upper Skyway. It's cloudy again, you can't see the landscapes. Mistress Vana, I was told not to expect. We would have prepared an official welcome. Please, there is no need for fanfare. I only wish to speak with Galene, if that might be arranged. Yes, Galene, of course. I will inform her immediately. Ah, but she may be engaged in a testing phase. You could be in for something of a wait. Should I let her know your business is urgent? That won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she is ready to receive us.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view. What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
Our options are as beautiful as ever. In some parts, yes, otherwise not so much, or it's more beautiful here. I'll say the first one. As beautiful as ever.
I swear I could hear the glimmer in your eyes and the adoration in your voice. While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures? Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own. By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans. But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveller. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account. Incredible. Would that I could have been there to see it. Yours is a harsh and unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue. To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart. Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word. As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world. What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe. We too are miracles, each and every one of us, born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done. A passion swelled within me. An epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true, and a presence without. Immense, yet intimate. Fate, perhaps, holding us in its tender embrace. As reassuring as it was intimidating. How keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance. I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath. I ventured forth on a journey that very day, so very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new, and so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning. And my purpose, my love. And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star. Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it. A moment she can let go and walk unto the end. Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You, who are our future. Tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
Pray forgive my lateness. My observation subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, I did. 'Twas in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone, like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling. But then another shot up, then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteon, the Matea, rather. There were lots of them, and I realized they must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The sight left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day. Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though. He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls. Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Please.
Oh, the weather changed. It's really green. Umbral wind. That explains why everything is green now. So another piece of the puzzle falls into place. From what we've learned thus far, I think we can safely conclude that Hermes hasn't been revealing the details of his research to others, which suggests that either someone with appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. Since we have no reason yet to suspect the former, we should consider the latter the more likely possibility. Proceeding under that assumption, our next step should be to divine why, or even if, he might desire such a terrible fate for our star. Next quest, worthy of his back. I should like to visit the site which Hermes set forth the Metea. If we are fortunate, we might find some hint of what drives this research of his. Galene said she spotted them in the southeast, rising from an isle she could see from the edge. If we stand at that same vantage point, it should not prove too difficult to locate the island in question. Let's take a look, shall we? Nice, Los. Congrats, dude. So we're going all the way down there. Now, if I were conducting some mystery research, where would I go? Ah, what about that one? Have you the means to fly? 'Tis quite a distance away. Inconvenient, but hardly an insurmountable problem. To me, Argos. My friend, would you mind creating a double to carry Anna here over to that island? Stubborn creature. There is no place on this great star we have not together traveled, and still he remains obstinate in the presence of strangers. Argos has rather exacting standards, I'm afraid. What? You've ridden him before? Ah, your before meaning my after. Not at all confusing, that. Interesting. 'Tis certainly not unthinkable. But speaking of the here and now, the quick solution is for us to face off in a sparring match. Demonstrate to him that you are capable of holding your own against me in battle, and you should convince Argos that you are worthy of his back. And besides, it might even teach you a thing or two into the bargain. You seem doubtful, but useful lesson or not, it will certainly be a moment to remember, a memory of the distant past to cherish. What say you, traveler out of time? Choose your battlefield, I will do what I must, and if this memory turns out to be a bad one... Let's see. I will do what I must. I had a feeling you might say something like that. Know that you must give a good showing, however. Clear your mind and prepare your weapons. I will await you at the clearing over yonder. Shall we begin? Be warned. I will not go easy on you. Let's go. And off we go.
Let neither side hold back. My blade sings!
Oh boy. Excuse me.
My blade sings! try something different. No quarter. Have a taste.
Ow.
I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither will I. Prepare yourself. We've only just begun. Come at me with your all. My blade sings! Impressive. I shall have to try something different. No quarter. Have a taste. I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither will I. your burdens and show me your strength of will!
Ow.
You still stand. The people of your time are more resilient than I had dared hope. I have seen enough.
We did it.
Twas my intent to finish it, but clearly I underestimated you. One would think I never learn. I made the same mistake with Azem when we first sparred. Despite being less than half my age, her strength was astounding. As is yours. 'Tis plain you have weathered considerable hardship. Far more even than your tales would suggest. It seems we have both learned much on our journeys. Well now, I dare say he has warmed to you. A boon to be sure. He never forgets his favorites, and is ever eager to come to their aid.
Cute doggo. Argos will soon have us standing on the very spot where the Metia made their departure into the night sky. With luck, we will learn something of Hermes' intentions. I hope it is that we find no connection, no festering wish for oblivion. Then we might have Azem's and his considerable expertise working for us, rather than against us. Next quest, a flower upon your return. Let us move over to the edge before mounting, shall we? That will allow Argos to catch the currents rising up from below and give us a smooth ride over to the isle. Oh, I see an ether current. Let's go ahead and tune. Argos motioned to his back with his muzzle. You've been given the go-ahead to hop on. Whee! Isn't this pleasant? Argos certainly seems to think so. Now, what was the name of that tree? Neo something. Ah! Oh. The text had it so quickly I couldn't read it all. Brace yourself for the landing. I wouldn't want you something something, because the text window is too long. Or it's not long enough, rather.
Quite Quite a small place, lacking even the most basic equipment. The present may yield no clues, but we may yet try perusing the past. Have you done this before? So you cannot control the power freely. Worry not. I shall assist you. Come and stand before me. There are two ways to see the past. The first entails peering through the walls of the soul in the moment a subject is recalling a memory. The second requires no subject, and is instead a process of piecing together an event from ripples left in the ambient ether. As memories are etched upon the ether of the soul, so too are they etched upon the ether of the world. In this way can history be preserved. Such memories are given to fading, however, and can prove challenging to visit. But come, let us try. Close your eyes.
All units fully functional and proceeding on course towards their respective stars. Estimated time to completion of survey is 108 cycles. End of status report. Severing connection with shared consciousness. Did you hear that, Hermes? All is well.
Yes. Good tidings at long last. Every step of the way, I've been reminded how little we understand creation. How the universe defies imagination.
But soon we won't need to speculate. We'll know the answers. What others live for.
Indeed. And we'll owe it all to you and your sisters.
I wonder what answers we will get.
Whatever intelligent beings that exist out there are bound to be vastly different from us. Diverse in form and culture. Possessed of unique ways of thinking. Their conception of life and its purpose will be no exception. Completely and utterly unlike ours.
Utterly unlike... how?
I have no idea. Yet whatever answers we receive, I will not dismiss them out of hand. No. I will think earnestly on them all, and I will share them with our people, that together we may contemplate our own existence. Perhaps then our star will become a better place. Not only for man, but for all life. Meteon, as though I gave you wings to soar the heavens, I did not teach you how to walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet, learn to walk and run and so much more. And when you return, older and wiser, we will have a celebration to mark your homecoming and coming of age both.
Will there be apples? Covered in syrup?
And how are you supposed to eat them? Rather than food, perhaps a flower. Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
So, what is your opinion?
Hermes is a gentle soul, and yet...
I understand. He is a gentle soul, and well-intentioned. Yet it does not take ill intent to beget ill. We must consider the possibility that something may have gone awry. Perhaps it was oversight, or simply an accident. In light of this, I propose that we reveal your tale to Hermes himself. If he does not wish for the final days, as we believe, he may well join us in pursuing a solution. Then it is settled. Let us seek out our friend with all swiftness. 'Twould not do to let such a pure soul be blackened by tragedy.
There are any number of places where Hermes might be in Elpis. But we could do worse than to look in Tissus Hyperborea, the largest facility. It stands in Ethoseletikos Boris, the Northern Isle. Say that 5 times fast. I wonder, Anna, for an institution which claims to studious research every species destined for release into the world, do you not question how they find room for them all on so few islands? The answer lies within Tissus itself. I touched upon the practice before back at the archives, where a vast area is stitched together out of multiple conceptual spaces. The same holds true for the interior of this facility and its magically constructed environs. 'Tis there, within those sprawling habitats, that the chief overseer and most of Elpis' observers conduct the bulk of their work. Come, the simplest route is via the noose north of Piotenoikos. So instead of running all that way, we're going to teleport first, and then walk the rest of the way. Oh, sorry. Most of the light yet hanging in the air suggests the device was but recently activated. Ah, good. The Neus acknowledged you as my guest. You should now have the authority to use it as you wish. As for the way to Tissus Hyperborea, we follow this path, then turn left at the crossroads. Oh boy. Here we are, the grandest research facility in Elpis. We should head inside and ask after Hermes' whereabouts. Hermes is at another facility, as we have just discovered. Furthermore, we've confirmed that his studies into Dynamis, as well as his creation of Meteon, were entirely private pursuits. No one else we spoke with appeared to possess the chief's depth of knowledge on the subject, and neither did we hear any tales of stolen research. Which means that if Hermes himself harbors no desire to bring down an apocalypse, then he might be recruited to help prevent one. Or so saith the illustrious Emmett Selk. According to your story, the 14 divined the connection between the celestial currents and the final days, but we were never able to pinpoint the root cause of the calamity. With our people's greatest minds, not to mention Hythlodaeus' sharp eyes, committed to the pursuit of a solution, such an outcome seems inconceivable. The only possible explanation is if the nature of the catalyst was so inexplicable that even we fail to perceive it. And what better fits that description than the invisible, intangible Dynamis? Which in turn leads to our next question. How did Hermes, in his role as Fandaniel, not recognize the subject of his own research? We must assume that he either knew or was unable to help, or that he was otherwise prevented from identifying the cause in the first place. At this juncture, all we can do is speculate. To be clear, the Convocation does not tolerate acts of deception or malice. We are practiced at preserving truth, or perceiving truth, and would have known had Fandaniel lied to us. Hermes has no conscious wish for the world to end. Of that, I am certain. It seems there is more to the tale after all. We conducted an investigation of our own, you see. Oh, you finally beat it, Los? Awesome. How comforting. We seem to have reached the exact same conclusion. I see no reason to delay further. 'Tis time we brought Hermes into the fold, as it were. Thank you for understanding. Save your thanks. I did not say I believed your ridiculous story, but as Emmett Selk, I have a duty to examine any potential threat to our existence, no matter how ludicrous or personally offensive I may find it. Next quest, Hunger in the Garden. I think the time for leisurely exploration is past, if I might have a moment to adjust my vision. There he is. On the next isle over, Meteon is with him. Hermes appears to be in the midst of an observational study, but I suggest we hurry over before they venture elsewhere. Head straight down the path. We can teleport to Misopsis Euros from the device at the bottom of the slope. I hope everyone's enjoying the stream. It's a nice little story time. This appears to be the teleporter to Misopsis Euros. They are close by, with the within the Hungering Gardens. That would be the circular enclosure you see just ahead. Well then, Enna, make yourself useful and bring Hermes out here to us. If I were to go, he would assume I was only there to press him on the Fandaniel matter. Of all of us present, you stand the best chance at conceiving him to put aside his work for a moment. But the creations in there are not exactly... Then again, perhaps Anna can handle them. She did survive a bout with Vana after all. Off you go to find Hermes, but do be prepared to come to blows with the garden's denizens. Ruchi, hello, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well tonight. We're playing more Final Fantasy XIV Online. In the story, we made it to Elpis. I'm doing pretty good, thanks. Just having a chill night. Oh. And then monsters attacked, and I don't have my companion out. Elpis was your favorite place? Nice. It is beautiful. Alright, now we need to find Hermes. Oh boy. There they are. Anna, what are you doing here? I thought you were keeping Hythlodaeus and Emet-Sel company. Oh, you got the Firebird? 35 runs, oh man. But yes, congrats on getting them out. Then yes, I will come, as soon as my work here is finished. It will not be long, I promise, but you should really wait outside the garden with the others. This is no place for idle exploration. On my main character, I have the majority of the primal mounts. I do have Kirin, I have Firebird, I have the nine-tailed fox. I'm just missing the giant dinosaur mech from Shadowbringers. But I've only done a few of those extremes though. Oh yeah, Reaper is such a fun class. I recently got it to 90. Super fun. You spoke with Hermes then, and we briefly entangled with the denizens of the Hungering Gardens as well, I see. Or I should say, smell. I cannot speak for certain convocation members, but I, for one, am impressed with your fortitude. Well done indeed. Now that you've conceived Hermes to confer with us, let us pray that things will soon take a turn for the better. For as fascinating as it would be to meet with Emet-Selch, or meet the Emet-Selch who would create Emerald in the depths of the ocean, I think it's best for all concerned if such tragic events never come to pass. Be it in our future or your past, assuming yours is not truly written in stone. Naive hope that is. That's what I keep hearing. Sage is a lot of fun. My character here, Enna, is a healer main. She's an Astro right now, but I do plan to level her as a Sage eventually. So I have that to look forward to. Next quest, Words Without Sound. Hermes said he would not be long, yes? Then we shall wait here until he emerges.
My apologies for keeping you waiting. I understand there is a matter you wish to discuss.
Aye, a matter of the utmost gravity, if one can suspend disbelief.
Los, thank you so much for redeeming drink water, and I just did just a moment ago.
Go on then. Tell him what you told us, who you are, and why you came.
Final days.
The phenomena observed during these star-encompassing calamities is likely the product of a dynamis reaction, and none is more versed in the applications of this energy than you, Hermes. I must stress that we do not believe you would desire such destruction. We come not to lodge accusations, but to beg your wisdom. And so, distressing though the exercise may be, I ask that you share with us your opinion on the matter, on the assumption that our visitor's tale is true.
Even you, Vana. As you say, the phenomena observed in the two calamities may both be attributed to dynamis. Of note is the difference in its effect. In the first final days, it warped creation magics. In the second, it warped the people themselves. The key variable, I suspect, is the etheric density of the men of each age. As you know, ether, in essence, negates dynamis. Harboring high concentrations of ether, we ancients cannot readily manipulate dynamis, nor be manipulated by it. Therefore, rather than ourselves, the calamity affected our magics. In contrast, having been sundered, the people of the future are composed of but a fraction of our ether. Thus are they susceptible to the influence of dynamis and its transformative potential. But that would explain only the mechanism, not the cause. Though perhaps...
What is it? Even should it be a hypothesis, we would hear it.
Dynamis is an energy put in motion by feelings. Feelings for which there must first exist a source. A source to which the victims must be attuned. One that harbors the self-same negative emotions. Elsewise it could not be the agent of such extreme change.
So it wasn't the stagnation of the celestial currents. Someone, or something, is instigating the star's demise.
So, we've a villain on our hands after all. Any idea who or what it could be?
The celestial currents comprise the outermost layer of the star's ether, encasing it like a protective sphere. According to your tale, it was where the currents were weakest that the phenomena first manifested. If the inciting factor came from without Aetheris, then its effects would first be seen in those locations.
Greetings. Can you hear me? Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm. I wish only to hear your words, share your feelings, know your thoughts. May we please be friends?
Meteion. What is it?
Executing scheduled task, suspending individual self and connecting to shared consciousness. Connection established. Commencing status report.
It hurts, it hurts. It hurts. So hot, so cold, so sad. I don't understand. Make it stop. Please, make it stop.
Steady, Meteion. Steady.
So scared, so lonely. The pain, it's too much. Why? Why do we? They hurt. Hate. This is wrong. All wrong.
She's gone? But how?
She has altered her etheric density in order to blend in with her surroundings, an ability for avoiding confrontation.
Most effective. Frustratingly so. I can't see her either. Not even a trace.
Stay away. Please. This is wrong. My mistake. So please.
Are you all right? In your mind? No. We only heard her speak the instant before she vanished.
Of course. When communicating without words, Meteion also employs dynamis. That will explain why you were able to hear her, when we could not.
Then you are our best chance of finding her. Follow her voice and try to track her down. Hindered though we may be, let us split up and search as well.
Yeah, I'm good. I was, I had to mute because I was sneezing. I don't want you guys hearing that. Oh. And a wild dancing Lois appears. Alright, we need to search the area. You calm your mind, your senses questing for any hint of Meteion's presence. It seeps into my mind. Our voices, reporting. No, no, Hermes mustn't hear them. We have to run, to hide. Meteon's anguished voice grows distant as the source seems to flee down the slope. No worries, Kira. Which Pokemon game are you playing? Oh, you're playing Sword. Nice. I have that one too. You strain to catch even the faintest whisper, but fail to hear Meteon's voice. She must be elsewhere. I like how the gym battles in that game are like an actual sporting event. Like broadcasted on TV, you wear official sports attire. I think it's really cool. You strain to even catch the faintest whisper, but fail to hear Meteon's voice. She must be elsewhere. Greetings and salutations. Commencing report. Oh no. We can't tell them that. We must run. Run far away. Please, don't follow me. Meteon's anguished voice fades as you sense her climbing to the top of the ridge. Yeah, she is talking like a computer. Meteon.exe stopped working. You strain to catch even the faintest whisper but fail to hear Meteon's voice. She must be elsewhere. How? How did it come to this? Is this the reason we traveled to the stars? Why we sought out other life forms? Is this it? Is this the answer? No, it cannot be. It cannot be. Meteon's anguished voice drifts away to the south. You strain to catch even the faintest whisper, but she must be elsewhere. Okay. I'm currently being chased. Here we go. Compiling a report for dissemination to Hermes and all peoples of Atheris. Processing expedition data. Preparing profiles on intelligent civilizations. Formulating answers to the question. Finalizing report. No, Anna. You mustn't listen. It's wrong. It's all wrong. Meteon's anguished voice flees towards the lake. Any sign of Meteon? Panicked and confused, which will make it all the more difficult to predict her movements. Hermes, what do you make of this situation? The Metea are linked to a single mind, a shared consciousness, which connects them across any distance. I suspect something has happened which disrupted its usual harmony. How might we access this shared consciousness of theirs? Much as you would approach any sentient being, directly. In the Metea's case, that means speaking to any incarnation within physical reach. So unless we can track down the Meteon we just lost, we have no means to communicate with them. No way of knowing what befell her sisters, and no way to provide directions or guidance. Then we had best set our musings aside and concentrate on how we might find her. Oh, my dear Meteon, what did you witness out there that frightened you so? Why do you seek it to keep it from us? How terrible could it possibly be? Next quest. Follow, wander, stumble, listen. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Meteon renders herself invisible by matching her etheric density to that of her surroundings, does she not? If so, could we not then disrupt her concealment with a sufficient of ether, a surfeit of ether? I can't read. Much how Emmett solidified your presence when first we met you. Don't be absurd. I can hardly channel ether to a recipient whose whereabouts are hidden from me. Which is why we must all work together. And it will continue the search in the same manner as before, but this time with you in tow. Once she ascertains Meteon's likely location, you proceed to reveal our wayward familiar with a swift ethereal downpour. Very clever, and thankfully, she has made herself easier to capture by fleeing towards Leth. Assuming she is made visible, it should prove no great feat to herd her into a corner. Then we have our plan. Enna and Emmett Salk will be our tracker and trapper, respectively, while we others predict and obstruct Meteon's avenues of escape. Emmett Salk and I will keep an eye on each other's ether to help coordinate our efforts. Let us be about it. Well, it seems we are partners for the time being. Let us return to where we last saw Meteon and pick up the trail from there. I will keep myself in a state of preparedness, ready to rain down ether at a moment's notice, meaning it falls to you to keep the way clear. So now Emmett Selk is going to be joining us. You calm your mind, your senses questing for any hint of Meteon's presence. But you fail to hear her voice. She must be elsewhere. Nothing this way? We try another route then. Why can't I fly? Are my functions being restricted? Hide. Yes, I'll have to hide then, where no one can find me. Meteon's anguished voice heads towards the water's edge. She went into the lake, as if this wasn't tiresome enough. Well, at least the open expanse should make her easier to find. We won't lose her this time. Discuss the water's edge. We should be able to reach the bottom of this drop by climbing down the rocks at the water's edge. Do not even think of dragging me over the falls. Final days or no, if I end up drenched from head to toe, I swear I will feed you to the remora. No, I don't want to get eaten. Thanks, though. Oh boy. Right, the water is not even that deep. Not here. I am not here. Please. By that rock, is she? Very well. What? Why can't I hide? There's no need to run, Meteon. Enna, what are you saying? Everything is so faint. I'm sorry. I'm not strong enough. Stay away. I'm begging you. Don't make me say it. It will break him. His poor, fragile heart. Now we have a chance. Once the others are in position, the two of us can herd her into their midst. That's a big shark. Let's avoid. He's like super buff. That truck reminds me of that show Street Sharks. It was like an early 90s, late 80s cartoon. Oh no. But yeah, Street Sharks. That's a callback. There, I see her. I mean, she's bright blue. How can you miss her? That's right, you can't be on a mount while doing the, while an NPC is following you. And yet again, there's a dancing Los. Oh, did he really glitch into a rock and he had to go all the way back to the beginning? That's harsh.
Aha! Give chase. We shall herd her into the shelter.
Oh yeah, that must have taken ages.
Please, Mission. We must speak.
I'm sorry, Hermes. I'm so sorry. If someone can hear these words, then please... Please protect them. Protect them all. Individual self-suspended. Connection with shared consciousness stable. Our survey is complete. We shall now report our findings. All units safely arrived at their respective destinations. Seeking answers to Hermes' question, we attempted to make contact with the intelligent denizens of each star. Results are as follows, in order of numerical code. Enna. Traces of civilization found. Structures believed to have served as domiciles. No extant life forms detected. Dio. ruined remnants of buildings scattered across Star, surface of which is encased in ice. Presence of life could not be verified. Tria. Evidence of large population centers, akin to cities, recovered. No extant life forms found, only their lingering essence. Tessera. Edifices surmised to be abandoned residences found. No extant life forms detected. Deadly plague or extreme environmental degradation likely to have led to mass extinction.
They are all dead.
Octo. Star found in state of violent conflict. Contact successfully made with inhabitants, but deployment of weapons of mass destruction resulted in total annihilation of local population shortly thereafter. Inea. Star is a barren desert. No identifiable flora found. Bones of living beings resembling men discovered beneath sands, but determination regarding their intelligence inconclusive.
Remind me, Hermes, what exactly was the question you entrusted to Meteon?
I tasked her with asking what others live for. What gives their lives meaning.
Did you consider what may happen if the premise of the question is flawed? To be able to answer it, one must be living and desire to continue doing so. But if Meteon finds no living beings in the course of her journey, or none who desire to live, what then? What answers would she derive from their silence?
Meteon, enough! Suspend your mission and return hither at once.
Decapente. Local civilization once flourished under auspices of higher power. Said power later laid waste to civilization in fit of rage. Upon revealing this to me, entity elected to self-terminate in lieu of providing answer to question. No other intelligent life forms found.
Turning a deaf ear, are we? We are taking Meteon back to Amarot. As I understand, we will need her if we are to bring back all of her sisters.
Yes. Meteon. It isn't right, is it? It isn't right to turn away from the answer. Even if the answer is pain. Even if we aberrations must scream ourselves hoarse to be heard. Aye. Whatever answers we find, I will not dismiss them out of hand. These words I said to you, and I will hold myself to them.
What is the meaning of this?
You cannot take Meteon, not until she has finished her report. All else must wait.
Well, that happened. Why, Hermes? Why could you not leave well enough alone? Will these answers assuage the pain you feel when a creation is returned to ether? Had you never cast your accursed question to the distant stars, you may have one day learned to be at peace upon this one. Next quest, Caging the Messenger. Hermes was headed to Tysus. Considering the expansive dimensions of the place, even we may have a difficult time locating his ether. All I can say is that he entered from the rooftop and likely arrived at the uppermost point in the facility. So, do we pursue him? Of course we pursue him. No matter what Hermes might be thinking, Meteon is a potential threat that needs to be brought under our control. The Convocation's duty is to safeguard this star takes precedence over any personal stake in the matter. Vana? Anna? 'Tis clear we stand on a precipice, but we have yet to determine what beyond a shadow of a doubt that Meteon is the hand which tips us over the edge. Nevertheless, if we are to learn the truth of the final days, we must give chase, and even if neither Hermes nor Meteon is ultimately responsible, we cannot leave them to suffer this torment alone. Agreed on all counts. To Tysus Hyperbonia, then. Oh, we are already here, okay. What have we here? Excuse me, has something happened inside Tysus? Mistress Vana, I'm so glad you're here. No one knows who or what permitted it, but the alarm was sounded and Tysus put into a state of alert. Procedure dictated that we evacuate immediately, and we have yet to investigate further. This is Hermes' doing, obviously. And what does this state of alert entail exactly? A field of dampening magic is dampened over the entire facility, usually in response to escaped entities and the like. Tysus scholars and observers are unaffected, but everything and everyone else is weakened to a fraction of their usual capabilities. Then consider us forewarned. We do, however, have urgent business with Chief Hermes. We must enter the premises regardless. That said, if Hermes is willing to enact such measures, I wonder what other obstacles he has seen fit to drop in our path. With that enfeebling spell in place, we are not like to be at our fighting best. And I was hardly an effective combatant to begin with. I've little to offer beyond my ethereal vision. Then you will put that talent of yours to good use. You were fairly skilled at spotting weaknesses, if I recall. Fairly skilled? Now you've gone and raised everyone's expectations. You all need only to make the most of your strengths, and I will fill in the gaps as required. I was once Azem, after all. 'Twas my job to rise to the occasion, but be that as defender, aggressor, or healer. I feel better about my lack of prowess already. And you, Emetselk, can impress us with your arcane magistry. You lob potent spells as easily as breathing, but can also channel the power In a protective manner, if you choose, yes? Eh? Well, yes, should the situation call for it. Excellent. That should cover us on all fronts. Your tale led us here, Anna, so 'tis only right that you lead us now. No matter what lies ahead, we will win through to Hermes and Meteon. And then we will face the future together. Tisis Hyperborea, now accessible. So, new dungeon. I'm gonna see who's all online. They're all doing dungeons right now. Okay, never mind. We will form a trust party. Insufficient item level. Do I have anything? There we go. Let's do it. Alright, dungeon time. Let's go.
Please, turn back, else I might be forced.
Let's see. Do I have any other gear that's worthy of note? I don't. Okay.
I see you, opening. see you opening.
Out of my way.
Have at you!
I see you opening.
Out of my way.
Have at you!
I see you opening. I see you opening.
Okay, first boss.
see you opening.
Have at you!
I got a new hat, so let's clear some space. I have so much in my inventory right now. Oh, Lois, thank you so much for redeeming drink water. Stay hydrated, guys. It's super, super important.
Have at you!
entirely useless.
Prepare yourself.
I really need to do an inventory dump soon. Anyway, second boss. Whoa. They both used their limit breaks at the same time. That was actually kind of crazy to see.
Out of my way.
I see you opening.
Out of my way.
I'm not entirely useless. I see you opening.
Out of my way.
Can you withstand this? Can you withstand this?
Oh hey, we leveled up. We're level 88 now. Nice. More healing items, cool. So let's rearrange our stuff here. We'll glamour them later. Yeah, I'm all good. I wanted to also check something real quick. I learned this. Enhanced Celestial Intersections. He allows the accumulation of charges. Oh, okay. So I can use the barrier move twice. Got it.
I cannot let you take Meteor. Not yet.
Oops, I mean to use that. Oh well. Neutral sect is a oh crap heal button, and I get a little solar system around my character.
I see you opening.
Can you withstand this?
Out of my way.
I see you opening.
I must hear their answers before they're expunged from existence.
I see you opening. I see you opening.
Prepare yourself.
see you opening. I see you opening.
Can you withstand this?
I'm not entirely useless.
Okay, we made it to the final boss.
So, it comes to this. I've no wish to fight, but this time, I cannot yield. Though the world may think me a mad, desperate fool, I will hold fast to my conviction.
And off we go.
I will have the time and tranquility I require. Lust and pain, gather to me. Ancient brand, unleash your power. Dancing winds, pierce my foe. on high. All is rage. I am not finished yet.
There we go. I have no more room in my inventory. I gotta do some purging after this. Free up some space.
It's over, Hermes. In the name of the Convocation, I hereby take Meteon into custody. And setting aside the matter of your nomination, you will come with us too. We require your knowledge to assess and resolve the situation.
Meteon, I am so sorry. Would that I could have listened to your report in full. Reflected upon its meaning and conveyed it to others, that they might reconsider their chosen course. But I have failed, and that wish will never be realized. However, ere our fates become the province of others, I bid you tell me just one thing. Was there happiness in those distant stars? Was there a reason for living?
We conducted our search as per your instructions. We scoured historical records, communed with the spirits of the deceased, heard the final testaments of the dying, welcomed their shadowed hearts into our own. One race had striven to create a world bereft of animosity. They renounced relationships to avoid interpersonal strife, and in so doing brought about societal collapse. One race had renounced war and devoted itself to the enrichment of its people. They were conquered. Though they destroyed the enemy in reprisal, they could not regain their former glory. One race had concluded that finite time was the root of all woes. Aspiring to shatter its shackles, they went in search of infinity. They discovered nothing is infinite, and that neither time or death can be cheated. Disillusioned, they gave up on the future and themselves. One race had discarded all things that gave rise to sorrow, hoping to have only joy. They found joy lost its savor in the absence of sorrow, and lost their will to live. Though worlds apart, these peoples shared a belief. The belief that they had tried their best. That they had tried to fulfill their potential with every step and success. In the course of which, they learned the truth. That they would never be free of fear and sorrow, anger and despair, of loneliness, so long as they yet lived. Even now their souls cry out for oblivion. And to this song of anguish, I lend my voice. We lend our voice. Oh, beloved mankind, shimmering jewels of beautiful Etheris, rejoice, for we will free you from the cruel yoke of existence. There is no need to struggle in vain, for in nihility awaits salvation. You will know peace and serenity, and it will be beautiful. We will make our nest at the edge of the universe, and there in the dark of dead worlds hoard sorrow and suffering. There we will sing, our chorus ever louder and ever clearer, that our song may reach even this ether-shrouded star. Such is the answer we have found in the stars. Such is the gift we now offer to Etheris.
Who were you to decide our fate? To decree we live or die? Have you lost your mind? You heard what she said. She means to destroy us all, yet you'd still take her side?
In the name of the star, we have discarded those creations that we deemed flawed. If we ourselves are flawed, does not stand to reason that we too should be discarded.
That is sophistry, and you know it.
Perhaps it is. Perhaps I am wrong. Who is to say that you are right? Let us settle this with a determination. In my authority as Chief Overseer of Elpis, I will make a judgment on man's fitness to exist. If he can learn to value all life and retain his will to live, even should his end be justified, he will surely find a way to avert his demise. If not, he will perish from the start. As with all determinations, provisions must be made to ensure fairness. Kairos! Awaken!
Memory reconfiguration system Kairos activated. Awaiting instruction.
Command. Universal memory alteration. Target area. Catesis Hyperborea. Starting point. Arrival of Emmet Selk of the Convocation at Propylion. Endpoint. The present. Erase the memories of all events and replace with a vague recollection of the following. I was here, preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to Emmet Selk and Hythlodaeus. Meteion's shared consciousness became unstable. She and her sisters could not sustain their existence, and all dissipated with a burst. The resultant shockwave accidentally triggered Kairos, which erased several days of memories from all present. Execute.
Command acknowledged. Initializing. 3 processes remaining to execution.
Bravo. I dare say one would be hard-pressed to make it fairer. Everything that you told us, everything that has happened, the fact we've even met, it will all be gone.
Go, Meteion. To the edge of the universe, where none can reach you.
Hermes, won't you come with me? If you were to shed your flesh, I should be able to carry you.
I will remain. As a man, I will oppose the oblivion you bring.
Silly fool. Had you said yes, I would have granted you the gentlest end.
This ends here!
Fly, Meteion!
That is far enough, Hermes!
Argos, to me!
First process complete. 2 remaining to execution of memory reconfiguration.
As if we needed more pressure. No matter what, you cannot forget what happened today. For it is the key to saving your future. Your world. This fight is our fight. What comes after, our problem to contend with, not yours. No. Your own struggle awaits, and no one else can take your place. You must flee this place with your memories intact, and I will see that you do. Now then, where is it? There you are, my little confluence. Meteon's gotten away.
Second process complete. One remaining to execution.
Ugh. No time for brooding. Listen well. Beyond lies a spatial confluence that connects the interior sections of this building. I will destroy the confluence and force open a way outside. When I do, you must jump through.
I cannot tell you how sorry I am. But neither can I let you escape!
Too brave by half. Exemplary work, as always, Emmett Selk.
What? But how? I thought the confluence was... over...
Over there? Yes. We were rather hoping we would.
It was never anywhere but where it is now. The instant those two began making their way towards nothing, 'twas clear the plan was a diversion.
I'm quite incapable of destroying a confluence, I must confess.
A gambit brazen beyond words. Though we've grown accustomed to reckless improvision due to the antics of an incorrigible associate. Though, in the case of certain present company, incorrigible is an understatement. Honestly, I'm beginning to suspect it's a requirement for every asset. There's no time! Quickly! Even now, I do not believe your tale. I would not suffer us to walk such a wretched path. Still, if it must be said, do not squander it, the legacy I leave you.
Final process complete. Executing universal memory alteration.
Go, Argos! I'm fine. Just a little tired. Can it be true? Are we the only ones left who see beauty in the world? In life? Are the stars above no more than husks of fallen civilizations? And yet, I feel her. Though she is unimaginably distant, I feel Meteon's presence, and the place where to we must go. Ere she made good her escape, I placed an enchantment upon her, one which allows us to follow her trail. She has already left the outermost bounds of Aetheris, and continues on her way. Given the vastness of the universe, it will still be no easy feat to track her down. But thanks to Emmet Selk and Hythlodaeus, all is not lost. We remember. So long as we remember, our fates remain ours to shape.
What became of the others, I wonder?
I'd like to know too. Let us ascertain the situation at Cutisis Hyperborea, where they should still be. Given the likely state of their memories, however, it would be imprudent for us to approach them directly. In which case... I am sorry, my friend. I've asked much of you this day. But may I trouble you one last time? Argos will investigate in our stead. We will share in his consciousness and see and hear as if we were with him. Now, close your eyes and open your mind.
Thank goodness you are unharmed.
Unharmed? There is a gaping hole in my memories. I can scarcely remember arriving here in Elpis.
Forgive me. I was preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to our guests. But Meteion, her shared consciousness became unstable. And she...
So, that's what prompted the state of alert. And when you went to investigate, you were caught in Kairos's accidental operation.
So it would seem. It's all a blur to me.
Such an unfortunate accident. Oh, and what of Vinar and your other companion? You went inside together, as I recall.
We did?
If Vinar was with us, I have no recollection of it. But that there is her familiar, is it not? The fellow seems happy enough, so I think it's safe to assume his mistress as well. I haven't the slightest notion who this other companion might be, however.
Ah, well, that individual struck me as a bit different, for want of a better word. Perhaps it wasn't actually a person, but some manner of creation.
Curious. I must ask Vinar about it when next we meet.
Yes, you do that. Now, if we may tend to Hermes, whatever this Meteion did, it seems he bore the brunt of it. Once you are fit to travel, you will return with us to Amarot. We need to make certain there are no other ill effects. Also, I am here on business of the 14. We've already had the conversation, like as not, but since your toy wiped my memory, we'll have to have it again.
Yes, of course. As you see fit.
This Kairos, it manipulates memories through the emission of etheric waves, correct? There is a theory which holds that memories scoured by blasts of ether are restored when the soul is cleansed in the underworld. If true, then perhaps when our time comes to return to the star, we shall remember these few days we have lost.
I doubt aught of interest occurred. Look forward to the revelation if you like, but I should prefer to reminisce on more meaningful moments.
Let us rest, if only for a while. After all, you and I... oh, we still have a long, long way to go.
A lot of cutscenes, a lot of story. I need to throw some things away. So I'm just gonna discard a couple things. Just so we have room. I can always get those back. Excuse me. Are you feeling at all recovered? I understand that your exertions were more than purely physical, but resting one's body, if only for a moment, is never without merit. As for Hermes, I think it unlikely he will recreate more entelechies. He poured much of himself into Meteon, and now that she and her sisters are gone, dissipated in his mind, the grief must be unbearable. He will blame himself. He will believe that, had he never acknowledged his dissatisfaction with the world, then the Meteor would have never been born to suffer and die. The offer to join the 14 will be a welcome distraction, and one day hence, he will face the advent of the final days in the role of Fandaniel. Hope I cannot put glamour plates on here. Thou must live, die, and know. Enna, listen to me. Our duty now is to denounce Hermes for his misguided determination, or to conceive Emet-Selch and Hythlodaeus that they have been deceived. No, we must instead ensure that the experiences Hermes sought to expunge are preserved. What days in our memories alone will be our weapon against the final days. You must fight this battle in your age, and I in mine. Come, let us walk together once more. I will see you to the doors of Propylion. Wasn't there an ether? Yeah, right here. Yeah, inventory management is the bane of my existence, too. It's a struggle. Okay, so now I have to manually walk back to the entrance. And then thus conclude the Elpis arc of Endwalker. I'm such a hoarder when it comes to inventory. I'm just like, hey, maybe I'll need this sometime down the road, and then I never use it. It happens every time. What the? Excuse you, sir. Not today. Your time in this age is drawing to an end. Upon speaking to Venat, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety.
So, it is within. The portal that brought you hither, and will take you home.
Yes, this is where we part ways.
May you and yours emerge triumphant. Make use of the knowledge you have gained, that your days in Elpis and our friend's sacrifice be not in vain. With Meteon free to pursue her designs, 'tis only a matter of time until the final days are upon us. We must be ready. From fortifying our defenses to securing our escape, there is much to be done. In spite of this, we cannot allow the report that set this calamity in motion to become common knowledge. Were the masses to learn the fates of the other stars, I fear the situation would spiral out of our control. I must carefully consider who can be trusted and bring them into the fold. Ordinarily, I wouldn't hesitate to call upon the 14. However, it was the desire for a fair determination that drove Hermes to attempt to erase our memories. And were he made aware of his actions, there is no telling whether he would remain a friend or become a foe. Alternately, we might try to alienate him from the convocation. Yet in doing so, we would deprive ourselves of a brilliant mind who would be invaluable in the crises to come. Quite the dilemma. Which is why I must work independently of the convocation. Regardless of how we proceed, if we are to permanently avert the final days, we must be equal to Hermes' challenge. We must prove that mankind is worthy to exist. And this hinges, I think, on how we confront the all-consuming despair that accompanies a senseless and seemingly inevitable end. Bewildered and divided, we would perish like the peoples of those celestial ruins. We could not hope to survive the final days, much less take the battle to Meteon at her nest. We must find a way to defeat despair, to unite and prepare as many as possible for the struggle ahead. Heavy will weigh the burden of guiding this legion of souls. Yet I have faith in mankind's potential. As long as he believes in himself, there is naught he cannot achieve. So I will not give up on him. On us. You may find your world to be very different. Or perhaps the erasure of our friend's memories has sown the seeds of a conjunction between us. We cannot know until the moment is at hand. So shall I strive to do my best, taking naught for granted as I walk my path. And I pray you walk with me to the end. As you move forward, so too will I, as will all, resolved to fight for the morrow. And when mankind has found the strength to stand against despair, we shall silence the song of oblivion. She who sings it will learn our journey is far from over. This I promise. Fare you well, my light of the future, till we meet again.
From this day forth, I shall strive to bring honor to the seat of Vandania.
Even now, I remember standing there, locked in a moment where the sky is aflame. Where stars fall as tears, and screams darken the seas. Where resignation rots the trees. Where terror twists magics into abominations. Such is the lament of they who have gone before. The song of they who tried and failed to create a better world. The song of the end. That which hides at the edge of the universe is no longer hope's creation. It is hopelessness incarnate. That day, mankind saw half of its number sacrificed to bring forth Zodiark. And covering the star in a shroud of ether, we forestalled the final days. Yet the cries echoed still. We wept for innocence lost, wailed for death inevitable. A reality too terrible to bear. And for too many who sought comfort in gilded memories of joyful days and tranquil nights.
This is all wrong! Why must we suffer so?
It needn't be like this. No. There must be a way to restore things to the way they were. To reclaim the perfect paradise we once had.
No, my friends. Suffering exists, and we cannot pretend otherwise. No civilization, however great, could eliminate it. If we would live, we must accept it as our constant companion. Let us not seek to forget this tragedy. Let us carry it in our hearts, that we may grow stronger and know true happiness.
We can't accept it! We won't accept it! It will be ours again! A world free of sorrow!
No, it will not. For there has ever been sorrow. Mankind was but spared its biting sting for a time. So please, open your eyes. To try and reclaim those lives we lost by sacrificing yet more isn't wisdom. It is weakness. No paradise is without its shadows. If we cannot accept this truth and learn from our pain, then our plight shall be repeated.
O mighty Zodiac! God, born of our boundless faith, we bid you, hear our prayer. Accept this offering of lives, and deliver unto us the lives we once had. Deliver unto us the days of old, the days when the star was a font of love, and we knew naught but bliss.
You would destroy it? Our beautiful world?
Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all, a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning and my purpose. My love. In spite of, or perhaps because of this, I choose to believe in mankind's potential. In his ability to find a way forward. So let there be no way back. From that temptation, I sunder us. No more shall man have wings to bear him to paradise. Henceforth, he shall walk. All is excruciating pain. I breathe fire and torment. I birth a world of suffering to mire and plague. In one fleeting moment, lives come and go, ever moving towards the unknown. And And in that fleeting moment, they cry for the answer to the question. Why, given life, are they meant to suffer, to die? As fragmented, imperfect beings, yours is a never-ending quest. A quest to find your purpose, knowing your end is assured. To find the strength to continue when all strength has left you. To find joy, even as darkness descends. And amidst deepest despair, light everlasting. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Alright. Great Master Glamours now? Guess not. We'll try in Baldessian. Or Altralian. Wherever, man. Wherever we need to go right now. There we go. Now we have our old glamour back. Let's return to the annex. Anna, impeccable timing as always. I heard you were off to the first as a part of our efforts to investigate the final days. Well, as so often seems to be the case, while you were away, we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. Alright, before we continue story, let's do our job quests. So we have to return to Razadhan. Actually, no. Healer quests are in Alamigo. So next, healer quest. A new battleground. Here to see Commander Aldin, I take it. This way, please. A request for an audience with the Sultana has been accepted. Before we depart, I'll share what we've learned since we last spoke. The blasphemy continues to elude us, all the while driving others to succumb to despair in turn. Even with Alamegan and Ul'dan forces searching for signs of the beast and more potential victims, we've yet to discern a pattern in the chaos. Nevertheless, if our blasphemy is like others, its behavior is likely dictated by the passions and regrets of the man it once was. Therefore, any information concerning him and the life he led may help us track it down before it strikes again. We don't want people to shun the families of the skulls any more than they already are, but the fact remains that the vast majority of the beasts have been both born from them. They're the ones at greatest risk of turning, without question. Fordola concerns me too. She came close to transforming once before, so I think it might be best if we keep her out of this after all. She deserves a chance to make amends. I'm inclined to agree with Enna. She was able to resist the transformation and has shown no signs of succumbing since then. If she wants to do her part, I say we let her. If only I could go in her stead. Actually, I was hoping you'd come with us to meet the Sultana. I believe she would benefit greatly from your understanding of the struggles our people face. You'd gain from the experience too. While she's not the sort to brandish a sword and charge into battle, you'll soon discover she's a champion of her own arena, as brave as any warrior. I doubt she'd have much to learn from the likes of me, but it would be an honor to me make her acquaintance. Ehrenwald and I will go on ahead and wait for you in the hustling strip. We'll see you anon. And then we need to go to Ul'dah. Master Papashan was just telling us that Nanamo, or should I say Lady Lilira, has gone on another of her jaunts about the city. Though it is not my place to question her grace's judgment, I do wish you had consulted me before running off on her own, and perhaps I'm overthinking it, but it's unlike her to keep guests waiting. If I may say so, sir, with blasphemies appearing throughout the land, it's dangerous time to be going for a stroll. I suspect that may be the very reason she wishes to see for herself how this citizenry fare in these trying times. Even so, it's downright reckless. We'll find her, though. No, I couldn't possibly allow such esteemed guests to. Come now, we might be here on official business, but we're old friends. As you may remember, I have a knack for tracking down errant sultanas. Some might say that knack is rather charitable. Ahem. I should be glad of the assistance. I'll take a look around here. Quizzing the locals will give me an opportunity to learn of recent ongoings in Ul'dah too. Well then, there's no time like the present. Fear not, with me on the case, this will be over before you know it. So now I need to go to the Sapphire Avenue exchange. It's been some time since I last combed these streets for young Lilira. As a matter of fact, Papa Sean and I would compete to see which of us could find her first. As I recall, most of the contest ended in my favor. The trick, you see, is to look past the disguise and pay attention to the gestures and mannerisms, the tiniest movement that might give her away. Come, I'll show you how it's done. Okay, Raubon, follow Raubon's lead and try not to fall behind. She's fond of pursuing the stalls here. If she's not here, where could she be? What if she's been abducted? In one of these pots? Perhaps not. I've never known her to be this elusive. That's odd. I've tried all her usual haunts, so unless she's hiding inside a barrel or something equally nonsensical, she must be elsewhere. Gods, why did she choose now of all times to run off? What if she's been abducted or run afoul of a beast? There's no need to assume the worst. We should keep looking. You're right, I know. But it's hard not to worry. Where could she be? Come to think of it, something Papa Sean said caught my ear. He thought Nanamo went on this excursion because of the emergence of the blasphemy and the beasts, to better understand how her people are coping with the situation. If so, she'd be driven to seek out the most desperate and destitute. Pearl Lane, then. May I ask you lead the way? I'll admit my ability to track missing persons may have dulled somewhat. Pearl Lane has ever been plagued by pickpockets and the like. I'll watch your back, so go ahead and give the search for Lilira your full attention. Ask about Pearl Lane. While it may not be immediately obvious, conditions here have improved considerably of late. Her Grace continues to support the rebuilding efforts in Girabania, which has led to the creation of jobs for many of the locals, both here and on the other side of Belsel's wall. Ask about the poor. In every society there are the haves and the have-nots, and seldom is this divide more solely felt than here in Ul'dah. Many of the young and able-bodied work for Lalorito as guards, though he earns more in an afternoon than most will in a lifetime. Nana. Lady Lilira. Raban, whatever are you doing here? And Enna too. While I'm glad to see you both, our meeting's not yet due to commence for several bells. What is the meaning of this? We were worried, and with good reason. These are far too dangerous times to be roaming about alone, Your Grace. Some things never change, but I assure you, I'm quite capable of looking after myself, in my own city of all places. More importantly, I wish to observe firsthand how the people have been faring of late, that I might be better prepared to participate in our discussion later. But I have finished. You will be comforted to hear. Then pray allow us to escort you to more amendable surroundings. Would you care to ride on my shoulder? Certainly not. You have already attracted more than enough attention. I thank you all for making the journey here during these difficult times. It is my pleasure to properly make your acquaintance. On behalf of the people of Eorzea, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude for your continued dedication to our cause. With respect, Your Grace, I am just a soldier. Was a soldier. Still, I say, Commander Alden will not make such a distinction, and neither will I. You yet serve your people, and have provided solace to many of Alamigo's most vulnerable. If we are to deal with this threat, we must forearm ourselves with knowledge. I understand you come bearing information regarding the blasphemy and its victims. We have indeed. Hence the need to locate families of Chronia Lupi members who have fled to Thanalan. There is no end to the struggles faced by Alamigan refugees, and those who once pledged allegiance to the Empire are no exception. But rest assured that irrespective of their pasts, all will be treated with an even hand. All will be afforded such aid as I am able to provide. Magnanimous as always, Your Grace. I don't even know what that word is. If I might be so bold, I have a question. What do you have in mind for those most at risk of undergoing the change? I believe there is but one recourse. Earnest and open dialogue. While some are born into unimaginable wealth, others suffer great hardship and oppression. The circumstances of our birth are beyond our control, our fates subject to the whims of the gods, some would argue. I once thought of myself a prisoner to my fate, a figurehead, helpless to watch on as my people starved. A powerless puppet. I wanted nothing more than to cast it all aside, to free us all, but failed in my naivete, and then was afforded a second chance for my privilege. The world is unfair, terribly so, but we have the power to push back against inequalities and injustices, if not overcome them on blessed occasions, to love our neighbor and share in life's bounties, to open our hearts and come together as one. Truer words have never been spoken. But without the support of the people, such words are naught but vain platitudes. Thankfully, my recent attempts to make inroads with the monetarists have met with some success. Despite differing views on many subjects, we yet strive to find common ground. Common ground. We've been pouring all our efforts into aiding families of the Chronia Lupi, and while it seemed to help to a degree, some have still succumbed and turned. Of course, they're not the only ones in danger. Alamegans everywhere, whether they sided with the Empire, fought for the Resistance, or were caught in the middle, they all suffered. They all wake up in the night, at times haunted by memories of death and despair. We know what can happen if those feelings are left to fester. The legacy of the Imperial occupation will not soon be forgotten, but rather than seek to forget, mayhap it is necessary to remember, to acknowledge and accept the truth of it, that they may properly mourn those they have lost. Aye, a remembrance. I propose we hold a memorial ceremony for those who died during the war. Everyone, no matter who they were or what they did, let them be loved, let them be hated, but above all, let them be remembered. And in the remembering of the dead, in their honor and their sins, we, the living of Alamigo, may yet find a sliver of common ground. It's a noble sentiment, but bringing together people who have reason to distrust one another and risk inflaming tensions could be a recipe for disaster. Then again, we can't keep ignoring the merit in the room and do nothing to address the situation. As long as we leave it to the individuals to decide whether or not to attend the ceremony, I think it's worth a try. Organizing an event of this scale will require a great deal of effort, so I offer my full support. Once you know what's needed, come to me and we'll put the plan into action. Obviously, some will balk at the idea, which is perfectly understandable, so I'll be listening to their opinions as well. After all, we want it to be a ceremony that brings Alamegans together. And I was wondering, Your Grace, if I might ask about your approach to, well, talking to people, winning them over. As you can tell, I'm no politician, so I'd be grateful for any advice you can share with me. Why, I would be delighted to. As a matter of fact, I have a number of matters I wish to discuss with you. And on that note, I suggest you and I return to Alamigo. So now we are returned to Alamigo. I knew Arenvald would make a good impression, but he's outdone himself. Not only has he found a new avenue in life to explore, he's taken to it with a considerable aplomb. And while his proposed memorial ceremony is bound to have its detractors, I have faith that many will come around. Not all, but enough, I pray. For our part, we must stand at the ready for whatever may occur. I shall send word if there are any developments. Okay, then one more quest. Laying the past to rest. There you are, Anna. Commander Aldin has asked me to convey to you the following information. At present, we are looking into reports of missing relatives of the Crania Lupi. With the cooperation of the Silver Griffins, we're currently searching for any clues as to their whereabouts. Thanks to the concerted efforts of Ragnfrid and the others, the general public has been willing to cooperate with our investigation, though many still harbor feelings of distrust for the collaborators and their kin. They've grown more receptive to our cause on the whole. Arnvald's been making steady progress in preparing for the memorial ceremony. He plans to host a meeting between the various community leaders to go over the finer details. In fact, he was wondering whether you could assist in delivering the invitations. If you can spare the time, you should be able to find him in the Mercantile District. Anyway, that's all for now. I have a few other matters to attend to, so if you'll excuse me, duty calls. Okay, now I gotta find Arnvald. Thanks for coming. It should come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for a whole bloody nation would keep a man busy, but by Rolgar, this is something else. The hardest part's been gathering information on those who died in the war, especially when it comes to the skulls and other conscripts. And they're the ones we need to treat most carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin and all their painful truth, then we do a disservice to their victims, living and dead. But if we let people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things we believe we would never do, then we perpetuate a different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with members from each of the settlements around Girabania. I've sent invitations to most of them already, but I was hoping you'd help me out with the last two. There's Raznun in the Peering Stones, and Sarisha in Vera Nilia. I'll give you one for each. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they refused, considering how their people suffered at the hands of the skulls, but I hope we can remind them that deep down, we're all just people trying to survive, to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide and set against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've included an account of my experiences with the Silver Griffins and the people I've met, victims, collaborators, their friends, their families, men and women who lived through it all, survivors. Even if they refuse to join the ceremony, at least they will know and hopefully understand, and our reasons for holding the event. Granted, I've not had much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You being the one to deliver them will make a world of difference, I'm sure. Take care, won't you? So let's go to the Peering Stones first. Greetings, friend. It has been too long since we last spoke. What brings you to my village? I have a letter for you. So the rumors are true. I need not read this letter in full to know its contents. I understand that Ragnfrid's volunteers are working to support the families of those lost in the war, which few will deny is a worthy cause. But to include the relatives of the Crania Lupi? The Skulls watched the Empire slay us in our thousands, and still they turned their cloaks and fought for our oppressors. And would you ask us to mourn the deaths of these curs alongside their victims? Let's see, our options are, I ask only that you read the rest of the letter, and then you have every right to refuse. Arnvald wishes only that you read his account before coming to a decision. To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous. Very well. Family. As Nun, my tribe is my family, and I know all too well the responsibility that brings. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience, conscience, my very soul. All are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspected some skulls had been faced with the self-same choice, but to see how their kin suffered, I cannot say I do not understand, though I wish that I did not. Their crimes will never be forgiven. They cannot be, but I, and any others who are willing, can offer our prayers to those tortured souls and the men that could have been. I accept the invitation, not on behalf of the M tribe, but as Emraz Nun, though I will put the question to my people that they may decide for themselves. I'm also eager to make the acquaintance of the person who wrote this letter. He is not wont to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth, painful though it is to confront. The meeting will be the perfect opportunity to take his measure. And then... okay. It's not too far from here. Oh, we're going to the Ananta village, the snake people. Welcome. To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit? Then it is as I suspected. There have been rumors that such a ceremony would take place. Although you have traveled far to make this invitation, I must decline. We cannot mourn the loss of the fallen if the Crania Lupi are to be counted among them. Like the Kalyana, they chose to aid the Garlean oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our lands. Cowards and traitors all. And are we to assume that Kalyana who died fighting for the Empire will be honored as well? If so, this is the more reason for us to refuse. Our options are, this is your right and no one will say otherwise. I came only to present a letter and ask that you read it in full, or Arnvald understands and accepts that you might refuse. He only requests that you read his account and then decide. If you insist. No one was spared suffering in the occupation. Not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both. No one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, having sold their souls only to lose everything, is a tragedy and a lesson. If they are forgotten, then the lesson of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land we call home, I will join you in remembrance and implore my people to do the same. In mourning, may we strengthen our ties with our neighbors as well. By together facing our past, we can rebuild a foundation of lasting peace and prosperity. It would be my honor to attend the proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Arnvald for his dedication. I and my peers have much to learn from the example he has set. So how did you fare in the fringes? They said that about me? It's rare for me to get such glowing praise, especially from renowned leaders like Sarisha and Miraz Nun. More importantly, though, they agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. After all, I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation when it's hand-delivered by the Warrior of Light herself. Before I get ahead of myself, though, I must remember that this is only the beginning. Bringing everyone together is one thing. Coming to an agreement on an extremely divisive issue is a different kettle of fish entirely, as Her Grace was quick to point out. But as she taught me, if our cause is just and our hearts are true, those of like mind will surely answer the call. And answer it they have. While there are bound to be differences in opinion, I'm sure there's nothing we can't overcome if we put our minds to it. To that end, I was hoping you could join us, if you've the time to spare. There are still a few loose ends. Ragnfrid and I need help to tie up beforehand, so we'll meet you in the palace as soon as we can. Just having you there will make a world of a difference. Here for the meeting, yes? Los, thank you so much for redeeming drink water. All this reading is making me thirsty. So while we all agree upon the importance of the ceremony, we recognize that the inclusion of the Crania Lupi will be distressing for many. I too lost family to their hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But for all their crimes, they were Alamegans, just like us. None made the decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice, and they chose to betray us. Who among us have not made difficult choices for kith and kin? And I do not forget that Fordola chose to stand between us and a primal. What does that have to do with it? Brothers and sisters, arguing will avail us not. The fate of Alamigo rests on my shoulders and yours, on those of every man, woman, and child that calls these lands home. To uphold our honor, to strive for prosperity, to protect our loved ones, we all know the weight of these responsibilities. 'Twas the self-same weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. And though they chose a different, unconscionable path, in the end, we all wanted the same thing: to deliver our families from persecution, that they might live to see one more day, because another day in shame and self-hatred was still better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair, a despair which threatens to drag us all into an abyss from where there is no escape. Know that it surely will if we welcome it into our hearts out of disdain for those we cannot forgive. But we Alamegans will not be so easily defeated. We will stand united and conquer this menace. Every Alamegan who fought and died did so in the hopes that one day we would be free. And we are free. We are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we are free. Free to lock away the pain and pretend it has no power over us until it festers and takes us in our beds. And free to lay it bare and let it breathe. To acknowledge it and to mourn our people at their best and their worst. The past is ours to bear, all of it, for ourselves and for future generations, so that they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alamigo a nation where no man is left behind, where he can make all the wrong choices and still be afforded the chance to make a right one. That went better than any of us could have hoped for. You have my gratitude for your part in the proceedings. But we both know who the real hero of the day was. This was all Ehrenwald's idea, and it was his words that finally won over the naysayers. Now that we have the community leaders on our side, we should have much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. Of course, holding the ceremony is by no means our final objective. No matter what we say, some will refuse to attend. It is my hope, however, that it will still serve to provide a measure of closure for us all, and to ease the plight of the vulnerable and the ostracized. Speaking of which, you will recall the incident with Fordola in Gala and Alagana. The young girl she saved and her mother wished to thank her personally. Considering what happened last time, though, I have reservations. It would be a valuable opportunity to present a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be, and that's before taking her echo into consideration. But that's a conversation for another day. Go and rest. You've earned it. And rest we shall, because we cannot do the next quest until level 89. We're almost there. But I think that'll wrap it up for the stream. We made a lot of progress, completed the Elpis arc, and now we're back in our original timeline. Nope, all my friends are here. I will wave to everyone. Let's see if they've been talking. Oops. Didn't mean to expand the log. I'm just going to open this for a bit. Okay, no. We're going to sit back on the bench. Alright, my friends, this will conclude another stream of Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker. Thank you guys so much for keeping me company tonight and watching me play more. I appreciate you guys being here, and you guys are great company. Appreciate it. And we'll be definitely playing more Final Fantasy XIV in the near future. Possibly tomorrow, I'm thinking. Maybe another game, I'm not sure. Alright, so. Anna is going to wave goodnight. And then I'm going to cut to my under. Since I have no friends to raid, this will be the end of the stream. I hope you guys have a good night or a good day depending on time zones and such, and we'll see you next time on Eventide Shine streams. Take care, my friends. Bye.